Flight boss, bitch. You know, for sure. You're now listening to the Mind of an Antares Moon. I'm the Archangel Uriel, and I'm here to carry out God duties and motherfucking responsibilities. And right now, we're going to talk about, you know what? What if I told you you wasn't a being? Now, I know a lot of people may have heard this before. Oh yeah, it's like the inner verse and the outer verse. They're trying to incorporate how the outside of the universe is just like the inside of the body. Okay, yeah, okay. Y'all know this is the Archangel Uriel video page, right? So y'all know how I go a little slightly different than your norm. So what happens here is this. Check this out. Now check this out. When you look at the planetary system, right? It's like an alignment, right? So we know space in general, by what realm of reality you're actually experiencing, and whatever spaceship you came back and choose to experience it through, that's how you're going to look at space. Now the majority of species here and mankind look at space as one whole thing, but really there are spaces within spaces, and if you can't see, reason why you can't see it that way is because of the vehicle you in, aka the spaceship you in. So how you relate to everything that's going on around you is going to be predicated on the vehicle you in. Now, by that being said, I'm the Archangel Uriel. That's why I'm able to come down here and explain it in this way. It's actually spaces within space. Now, you say, okay, it's easy to say that, but give us an example. Okay, that's why I'm here, because I bring things into reality. Now, check this out. If you're a person who into astrology or into any type of, if you're into energy, you could be just a non-religious, non-spiritual person in general. You're going to be into some type of energy. You're going to feel some type of vibe. I don't care who you are. Now, we know it's based on location and space. And from the left brain, we can point to it and give it direction. From the right brain, we can feel it and see what kind of moment it is. And that's the kind of direction it is from the right brain. So, for an example, when you deal with certain people or go to certain areas, you feel a certain presence. You feel a certain energy. So right there, that's letting you know, right there, that's letting you know, in those spaces, in those circumstances, in those situations, that space, that circle is filled with a certain energy, filled with a certain water, filled with a certain vibe, filled with a certain fluid. Right? When you start to describe it, you start to add left brain annotations to it. You start to describe what kind of feelings, what kind of emotions, what kind of vibe it is. But for the most part, what you're feeling in general, that's what you feel. So that's when you step into that circle. That's what I say when they say, all right, you got a group of people, right? And they say, we don't want no squares in our circle. Because this circle is already a situation, already a circumstance of people already agreeing. Whether they're logically agreeing on things or not, they're together or what they're doing. They're a group. It's a circle, right? When you come in and do something differently than what the circle is actually doing, you're starting to add lines and diagonal in certain metaphysic realms of reality. This is how I look. You're starting to create lines and shapes throughout the circle and triangles and shit like that, so it'll make the circle start to feel like it's being analyzed or having to be compromised or having to be thought about now. So if you're a person who's coming in doing things differently than this group of people, but you want to be with this group of people and they label you as a square, they say, nah, we don't want no squares in our circle, then that's a form of you creating situations and dialogue and shapes and directions into a person's circumstance. So check this out. That's an example right there of you getting it, what you mean when somebody say, I need my space, or please don't come into my space? They can be talking about emotionally, they can be talking about physically, right? But is their space, if they don't want your energy, they don't want your fluid, your vibrations, your frequencies, your ideas in their space, their subconference, then that's their space. So that's their space within the whole space. Because I got, for an example, if I want somebody in my space, I got my space, right? And they got their own space because I don't want their space in my space, right? But we are within a space. which is middle knowledge, the third sequence of things. You know what I'm saying? The middle view. You know what I'm saying? So that's an example of me showing you. That's an example of me bringing into as physical as I can that there's spaces within spaces. Now, when you look up in the sky and see spaces, since you see things with these two eyes and you in duality based upon the and separation based upon the spaceship you in, that kind of space you're only going to see it as one. But once the higher enlightenment you get, the more you're going to be able to pay attention to certain details to know that certain spaces hold certain different energies. Just like when the sun is in Pisces, getting ready to go to in Aries. So the sun is your actions, the way you act, ideas. So right there, enlightenment. So it's in the space of Pisces. You see what I'm saying? When you look at the time, today is Monday, right? The time of the day, the energy of the earth is in the space of Monday. And reason why we gave it Monday is that's when we start to logically put into time to what point of reference we could point to. So now we could tell the difference between Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. But but from a right brain point of view, that's the space we in. We're in the Monday space. It's going to take us all the way till tomorrow to get into the Tuesday space. So Earth travels into the Tuesday space, and it takes Earth about 24 hours to travel through each day to each of these spaces. And these spaces, we give them the location and the label them a name, which is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. You see what I'm saying? So we finna get a little deeper. Now check this out. Check this out. Now that you know everything is a location and distance, we know when we start to get into space-time and experience, we know to get to those locations and distances deals more with the internal. The getting there from and I remember in my last video I told y'all the directions in the yin realm. You got the directions with the right brain. You got the left brain directions and the right brain directions. The left brain directions is what you can externally point to. The right brain direction is what you can internally point to. For an example, if you want to look up, let's go to left brain directions. External. If you want to look up, you look up. See what's up. If you want to look down, you look down. See what's down. If you want to look right, you look right. You see what's right. If you want to look left, you see left. See what's left. So you need these directions to know where to go externally. So if someone gave you a place to go and you need to know how to get there, you need a map. So that's logically seeing how to get there. So it's either you go up, down, left, right on a map, which here on Earth in the 360 realm of reality, it'd be whether you go that way or that way back, you know what I'm saying? Or you hit a left or whatever like that. Now, the direction in the right brain in the yin realm, if you want to look up, you feel up. You feel optimistic. You feel positive. If you want to look to the right, you feel righteous. You feel righteous about a situation. You know what I'm saying? You know what it is to feel righteous. Now, if you want to look down with the right brain, you feel down. You feel depressed. You feel stressed about something. You know what I'm saying? And if you want to look left with the right brain, you feel left field about something. You rebel. Go opposite to something. Right? So these are directions of life. So if you had a game controller, it would start with the directional pad up. So you want to go to the right. Righteous is always go for the... So if up... So look. If you want to... Where's the game pad at? Right here. I'm going to do the old school Sega. You know what I'm saying? Now, we got the game pad. So it's the life of direction. So up. If it start with up, right? That's the up, the spirit realm, before it come down into density or whatever like that. In the yin realm, you feel up. You feel optimistic, right? And then when we say something's coming down, that means it's heaven sent on earth for some strange reason. That means it's coming from where? Up. So up. So it got to come down into density. So to live right, when you was up there and then you came into a vessel as a baby, that's up. Now you coming down. Now to live right, you go to the right first. Where's the game controller? Just had it in my hands. Now when you come down, you go to the right first, right? So when you come down into this existence, you're supposed to do what's righteous, right? Then you're going to go down into density. Now you're experiencing density. You're experiencing for all the woes of the world by living righteous, right? So now you go left field to all the densities because you know that they're wrong, right? And then you're able to go back up. You lighten your load. That's the right way to live. Now to live backwards is evil. Now to live backwards is we always come down first. That's what God did first. Came down to density. So once he came down, that's from up. To live backwards, that's to live evil. So that's like you going left field first. So you came down and you start opposing everything first. You ain't go righteous first. You went left. You went left field, opposing every goddamn thing, right? So then when you got into density, now you experiencing all the woos and the worlds, shit like that from doing shit left field, right? Now once you reach that down, experiencing density of everything you did left field, I'm pretty sure you manifested so much karma that shit gonna make you want to do righteous again. But it's gonna be harder to get to the righteous. But as long as that you try to fight the good fight to get there, that's all I want to see. So then you go to the right, and then you go back up. But you go back up experiencing a whole bunch of negative shit first because you was living evil. You was living backwards. See what I'm saying? So that's where they even got the game controller from, all that shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why even when you play video games, the screen, you always, if it's an adventure game, you're always going to the right. Anytime there's a game going to the left, it makes you feel weird. It makes you feel like something's awkward. It makes you feel like you have to go back to something. It makes you feel like you left something out. You know what I'm saying? That's why suspense games and RPG games are really popular and stuff like that, because it gives a person the scare isn't what you're actually witnessing, like monsters and stuff like that. The scare actually is being backed by the energy of you feeling like you have to go left field first. You have to go back towards something. You can't just go linear or straight like games in 2D used to go. Like RPGs, you usually forget something, so you have to go back and get this tool or get this key in order to open this door, in order to go back here. You know what I'm saying? So that suspense itself is enough energy to be backed and powered enough for them to throw you in whatever program they want to throw you in, unless that, like, if it's dealing with monsters or whatever like that, to scare you. So what's actually scaring you ain't really the monsters and the programs that's in front of it. It's just the energy that's being backed behind it. So some always have to attach your emotions and feelings first in order to externally affect you. So a lot of times that's the representation of attacking you internally first, making you feel left field in those type of games, and then now they can cover it up and mask it with the illusion of whatever programs you're in, whether you're into fantasy-like games, monster games, zombie games, you know what I'm saying, things of that nature. All right, now let's get deep now. Let's talk about the actual being you in. Now the actual being you in, you could say is your God. And back in the pagan religions and all the African religions and the first religions you can even think of, the form of prayer and who they're relating to as gods is these planets, right? I'm telling you that right now. They're not every form of I don't care what religion it is. It's a form of representation of the actual planets. But what I'm here to tell you as Archangel Uriel is, the being you're in is what you're representing as a god. This is why they're calling it a male. This is why they're making it more left brain. This is why, because I'm gonna break all that down. But the god that you're trying to represent is only conceivable by the being you in. Now, all the thoughts and misconfusion that you got of God is the same misconfusion that the being you are in have of God. Now there is a God, and then you're in a being that's looking towards this God also. Now, what builds this being, I'm finna let you know right now. Yo. I'm finna let you know what builds this being right now. Now, what builds this being, now you have a chakra system, right? So, as a human, this spaceship is intellectually capable of conceiving information. Now, information and enlightenment and being able to see things. Now, what happens when you see? What's the best thing? What's the best, most simplest way you can see here on Earth, right? Light, right? What's the best form of representation of light here in this plane of existence, right? The sun, right? Now, that's form of enlightenment ideas already. So that lets you know right there that in this realm of reality, the sun from your sun sign is most important because it's what people are going to see from you. It's going to be your actions, the way you act, and it's how you're going to see things, and where you see yourself, and how you see yourself. So when you're not doing what you, if you're not doing what you actually see yourself doing, you're going to feel bad about yourself. So if you're a sun sign Taurus and you don't see yourself being stable, you're going to start to feel uncomfortable about yourself, about your moves. If you're a sun sign Gemini and you're not being communicative or informative, you're going to feel less about yourself. If you're a Cancer and you're not being emotionally initiative, then you're going to feel less about yourself. If you're an Aries and you're not being initiating any type of feeling or seeing a way about things, you're going to feel uncomfortable. So you see what I'm saying? Now look, check this out. The zodiac itself, no, forget the zodiac. The 360 itself is the 360 that God took. And us logically, with information and being able to see space within space, are able to break it down into 12 point of views. And then, because first we broke it down into 2 point of views, yin and yang. Then we broke it down into 4 point of views, the elements. Then we broke it down into, you see what I'm saying? Broke it down into 6 point of views. Then we have the lesser angels. Then we broke it down into 8 point of views till we get a 360, and we know it can be only broken down to 12 point of views, which is 1 plus 2 is 3. 360. Let me get this real quick because we finna go in. We about to go in. It's about to go in. Alright, now when we talk about the body you're in, right? Now, just think about it. Now, the sun. Now, like, you have a chakra system. So everything is smaller representations of a larger thing. So you're manifested out of something that was larger. So you're part of mankind, man species. There's millions, trillions of different species. This spaceship is mankind. So it's only going to see things out of a mankind point of view. This mankind, and mankind means man, one man. That is mankind. It's not just man. That's another confusion people get. That's another confusion people get. So it's man. It's mankind. Woman and man. That's this species. You have animals, amphibians, all kind of shit species. So just because in this realm of reality, mankind are able to conceive information from the sun a lot better than a lower density, than a soul and a spirit that came back and reincarnated its energy into a lesser density, like an animal or like a bug or something like that. So they can't receive as much as the sun as us. Then that's because they just can't receive as much information because they brought their soul back. But we're all on the same playing field. You can go back to my other video to know that. Now, to say that, the same playing field, the same 360 playing field that we call heaven and hell being in the same spot, and time and dimensions and everything, all that is being in the same dimension because of this 360 realm of reality we in. This 360 realm of reality is being manifested by the circumstances of the chakra system of the planets that we're constructed under. So in the galaxy, you got many suns, right? But in this Milky Way, you know what I'm saying, our Pacific sun is the sun we're up under. And what travels the chakra system and what travels the sun that we're up under is the 7 planets that came up from it being a single thing and coming into a chakra system level. So we know that the sun is going to be the crown chakra. You know what I'm saying? We know the moon is going to be the soul, the mind, the inner. You know what I'm saying? So we know this being that we in. Oh, you good? This being that we in You know what I'm saying? Now, constructed from you, we know the sun is your actions, the moon is your emotions and the feelings, right? The Mercury is your thinking and communication, right? You're on Earth. The Earth is how you nurture, how you your growth. You know what I'm saying? Your compassion and your care. You know what I'm saying? Venus is your love and your feelings. Mars is also your feelings, but it's like, I'm gonna break this down. Mars is your aggression, your passion, your willpower. See what I'm saying? Hold on, where Chris go?
To the store.
Oh, Jupiter is your wisdom, your knowledge. You know what I'm saying? Your wisdom, your knowledge, your experience. You see what I'm saying? Saturn is how you gain structure in your life. You know what I'm saying? Venus is, not Venus. Neptune is your dreams, illusions, creativity, imagination. You know what I'm saying? And illusions. Pluto is your deep transformation, deep willpower, deep desires. You know what I'm saying? From a long distance goal, from like a 72-year type situation. Now, check this out. All this, reason why you look at it separately, because you are in a separate piece of this being, which is you on Earth. This is why you're able to grow. You're able to inhabit the DNA. You're able to be constructed and be put together and be nurtured and be watered and be growth. Now, the only reason, now you're on Earth. Only reason you're not cave-like and rock man-like is because you're receiving energy from Venus from here. So that gives you the energy of love, appreciation, value, and relating. So all relationship, love shows, or whatever, like anything that's dealing with love and energy that you got, you're receiving that information as a human, mankind. You know what I'm saying? Any hatred, aggression, passion you may have, you're receiving that energy from Mars, right? Any type of communication, thinking, analyzing ability you have, you're receiving that from Mercury, right? Like I said, any nurturing growth you have, you're receiving that from Earth, because you're already on Earth. So that's why you're able to even be on Earth, to grow on Earth anyway as a seed. You know what I'm saying? Any kind of constructural pattern that you can see, you got that from Saturn. You're getting them energies from Saturn. So that's the only way how those energies been played out, and only way, and you to have a physical spaceship in a form for it to be played out through is you have to be physical. Now Earth is made of physical. It's something that can be made physical and can be grown. So this is why you a specimen on Earth. When you a piece of that on Earth, so everything you a piece of something within something. So everything is going to see large. But look, all these together. Now I'm telling you. Now I'm getting back high up to where I'm from. That's Archangel Uriel. Where I'm from, this is an actual being. This is the one-eyed being. The eye is the sun. That's the eye. This is what it sees. When we all become as one and everything seemed like it came, like say we all have the same emotion, the same ideas, the same feeling, we all came together in the same posture. You know what I'm saying? So that's the idea, that's the gas, solid, and the fluid all together. The frequency, vibration, and the energy all together as one. We're going to cause a rapture. The way the rapture look is, and now depending on the ideas we have, the emotion and feeling that we have about this idea, and the kind of stance that we come up with it, this is the actual reality that it's going to create. But with it, how the rapture actually looks, it actually looks like all the planets caving in. Because actually what we doing is taking all the energies from all the planets and becoming one with them. So we just becoming them, and everything cave in. So this spaceship that we in gets destroyed, right? And we are able to be one with the planet, so with these energies. So we become the being. And this being itself, I'm letting you know, this is it right now. The sun is the sun. The sun is how it sees, is the one eye. The emotions and the feelings of it is the moon. We can see the moon. The communication style of this being is Mercury. And this is an example why mankind is very late at communication forms. This is why it's hard for us to communicate with other life, because we're very as a being, as mankind, you're very young.